Hey there, traders. Today we're going to be talking about another trade recap, and this is an INMD, in mode LTD. This is the How to Trade Stocks and Options podcast brought to you by 10minutestocktrader.com, where we give you the tools, tips, and tricks to help you trade faster and trade smarter. And here's your host, voted one of the top 100 people in finance by Redwood Media Group, founder and head trader of 10minutestocktrader.com, Christopher Uhl. The How to Trade Stocks and Options podcast is produced in partnership with my friends at FinClub.ai. I use the artificial intelligence data from FinClub as my primary indicator. I don't even take a trade if FinClub doesn't show me that I have a greater edge than any other traders in the market. You've heard the stats, 90% of traders fail, which is why you need to find an edge, and FinClub has that edge for you for just a few dollars a day. The returns produced by FinClub have been shown to be more than double that of the market, with win rates as high as 90%. I mean, they basically make it so easy. They're going to show you exactly what stock is going to exactly what price. Basically, they're handing everything you need to you on a silver platter. Listen, they are so confident that this will change the way you trade. FinClub.ai is going to give you 2 full weeks to test drive their service, and they'll even give you all their historical results so you can see exactly how it works and how it can dramatically change the way you trade. And that's exactly what I've done. So head on over to FinClub.ai to start your free 2-week trial, and I'll even throw in some extra bonuses after you sign up. Now, the only place you can get your discounts and free bonuses is at FinClub.ai. That's FinClub.ai. This actually was a stock trade. Man, it's been a hot minute since I've done a stock trade, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I was looking at some things to trade, and the first thing that came across my radar was INMD. And it was at the top of the Investors Business Daily list of stocks. And so I started looking around, and first thing I saw was, hey, you know what? This is in a nice little uptrend. And we're going to go through all of the ins and outs of this. And because it was a stock trade, it's a lot less complicated than an options trade. So we'll talk about each thing individually. But first things first, I saw this, and in fact, let me zoom in just a tiny bit. All right, so when I first saw this was on January 21st. In mode already had a MACD crossover. It already had a 5 and 20 crossover. In fact, let me remove a few extra lines from this so it's a little easier to see. There we go. All right, it had a 520 crossover. The 5 is the gray line. The 20 is the black line. And I thought to myself, okay, well, so far so good. It's in a bullish pattern. Well, I want to see the 5 over the 20, so that's good. That means in the last week, it's outperforming everything in the last month. So that's a great place to start. Next, we have our MACD crossover showing that it has a positive momentum. And then I'll move this over to where it entered. Okay, the RSI was not overbought, meaning that it didn't have too many days where there were just buyers upon buyers. Because with the RSI, really interesting with this one, right? It basically is an oscillator that says over the last X number of periods, in this case 14, how many periods are positive, how many periods are negative. And this is falling in the 50-60% range. And in all reality, that's great. We don't want it to see up at 100, because that means it's more likely that there's going to be a down day soon. And we definitely don't want to see it down at 0, because it means more than likely it's been beat up real bad and there may not be any buyers. So anyway, saw this and I was like, all right, let's take a look at it. And then I went down to the 65-minute chart. So I went down a 65-minute chart. Now, the reason you'd want to use a 65-minute chart, and this is the reason I do it, is because the day is broken up into 6 hours. And if you were to use, I shouldn't say 6.5 hours. If you were to use an hourly chart, that would give equal weight on a 30-minute candle as on an hourly candle. And obviously that doesn't always work out right. So recently I started incorporating 65-minute charts, and it's for that reason. It gives better data. So then I got to looking a little bit more, and it was on the 21st. So this vertical line here is where I entered the trade. And I was looking on the 65-minute chart, and I saw, hey, we got our 520 crossover. Basically, my same daily indicators I want to see on an hourly time frame. that's as very sophisticated as I want to make it, right? It doesn't have to be super sophisticated. Really, it does not have to be complicated. All you've got to do is have a plan to enter and have a plan to exit. So looking at the hourly 65-minute chart here, I saw that the 520 crossed over a few days ago. And then the MACD crossed over a few days ago. The RSI is looking good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get in. So I put it in an order at 46.50 and it was filled. And I was like, all right, it's been a while since I've done a stock trade versus an options trade. So I'm just going to let it run. So I did this and basically made all my decisions on an hourly chart. So just to give you some context here, when I sent this alert out to the Inner Circle members, I said, hey, I found an opportunity in a growth stock, INMD. This doesn't have options, so it's a pure stock play. I have an order in to buy at 46.50, where the VWAP is at right now. VWAP is a volume weighted average price, and that is extremely important. I'm finding this more and more as I look through charts that the stock price will either come back to the VWAP like a magnet, or the VWAP will move to the stock price, but it's going to take a little bit longer. And because of that, that was what I saw, was it was right at the VWAP, right at the volume weighted average price, 46.50. And like I said, Investors Business Daily had this at the top of their list. So I sent this out to my Inner Circle members with a chart just showing what I saw as well, right? Enter at 46.50 and put our initial stop loss at 42.50. So that was about a 10% stop loss there. And I'm going to go ahead and put a line at 42.50. 42.50. We'll do that. 42.50. All right, so we put in our initial stop loss at 42.50. And where did my other lines go? I don't know. I lost them. Anyway, so we entered at 46.50. I'm going to have to draw that back on the screen here. That's what I was looking for. We entered at 46.50 and we... Let me refresh this page here. It's acting weird. Okay. We entered at 46.50 and had our stop loss set at 42.50. Now, why did I pick 42.50? Well, at the time, that was roughly about 10% below there. And I was like, you know what? This is a growth stock, so they're going to move around a lot more. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set this at 42.50. That'll give me a 10% wiggle room if I'm wrong. Well, one day goes by and it moves up and down and nothing really happens. And then the following day, we had a monster up day. So from the time we bought in to the end, to the peak of that monster up day, it was up 10% in 2 days, which is huge, right? I mean, that's what you want in a growth stock. You want to move a lot. And this one definitely moved first in our favor. And as you can see on the screen here, the blue clouds were what we had anticipated it to move in. And it definitely was. In fact, it was outperforming that, which is great. So then I moved up my stops and I sent an alert out to the Inner Circle members. I said, hey, moving stops up to 43.75. So we moved our stop from 42.50 to 43.75. All right, because the stock's moving up. So we want to make sure we move our stops up along with it. So the next day goes by and no big deal, right? And it's having its monster up day. And I think so it did fall 3.5% during this day. However, we still had our stops in at 43.75. And here's the deal. You have to have stops. When you enter a trade, immediately put in your stops. And it can be whatever you decide is the right stop for you. But that was the number for me that felt comfortable. So it's moving up. It's showing a profit. But I'm willing to give up a little bit of that profit just in case something goes wrong. So let's see, keep moving up here. All right. So then after that, I moved the stop up to 44.25. So now we've gone from 42.50 to 44.25 and still everything is looking hunky dory, right? We have this monster up move. Everything's fine. Just moving stops up because I want to make sure to protect myself. And had some other trades that we put on. At this point, INMD, it was showing us a 7% gain. And keep going a little bit. All right, so this morning, today is the 24th. This morning, I put on a order to lock in my gains, right? So we had our stop order at 44.50. So we entered at 46.50, remember? So what I said is, all right, let's go ahead. Let's place in a stop for some of our gains. Now, it wasn't much. $47, and we got in at 46.50. And I know what you're thinking to yourself. All right, that's okay. 50 cents is great, but you said you had a 10% move, and we did. It was great. But with growth stocks, things move around a lot, right? So it ended the day here at 50.15. And this morning, man, it was a monster run. I was like, oh, even more. 6% it was up just today. But then you know what else it did? It went down 7% today. So a 13% range in one day. Now, obviously, like I said a few minutes ago, certainly got to prepare for some volatility with growth stocks. But man, a 13% range in one day is pretty nuts. So I had my automatic stop set at 47, and I had zero complaints when it got filled at 47. I was at the gym. I was doing my thing. I looked down at my phone, said filled at 47. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I locked in a 50-cent gain per share. And while that doesn't sound like much, there were zero losses on the trade, right? And while, yes, of course, I would have loved to have got out where it would have been a monster move, right? 14% gain, $6 a share. That would have been great. But my plan was to be conservative. My plan was to move up my stops every day just to trail along behind the market. And you cannot anticipate a 13% daily move. And you certainly are not going to be able to call the top, right? Just not going to happen. So where I was a little disappointed that it, pulled my stop, especially when it ended $2 above that, $2 a share is kind of a lot, but you know what? It's okay. And I was thrilled to be able to play this growth stock in a very conservative manner, get a win on the board, and not have any issues with this trade. This was a textbook trade, right? A, we got in at a great price. B, the stock went up. We moved up our stops. C, we didn't lose any money. So that was a great trade. So that's everything you're going to want to know about our trade in INMD, a stock trade, which, like I say, is unusual for me. I mean, it's been a long time since I've done a pure stock play with no options. I love options. Options there's so much flexibility in what you can do with options that's my number one go-to. So yeah, that's just how I like to trade. It may not be for you, and that's okay. Everyone has their own style of trading that has to fit their personality. So let's cover this trade real quick. We got in at a good price. We let the stock work for us, and it had some volatility. We didn't get stopped out. We moved up our stops several times, and then finally, the stop was taken out, and our order was filled, and everything was good. So that was a good trade in INMD. It wasn't a huge monster winner like it could have been, but at the same time, not a loser at all. I will gladly, oh my gosh, I will gladly take a 50-cent winner every day of the week versus a $5, $10, $20 loser. Ugh. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So that's everything you're going to want to know about the INMD trade that we put on. And thank you guys for tuning in to today's How to Trade Stocks and Options podcast. Listen, before you go, if you found this useful, please make sure you leave a like. Or if you go onto iTunes, please leave us a 5-star review. That really helps out a lot and helps share the podcast. And then, you know what? Please go ahead and share it with someone that you know that may have learned or could learn something from this episode or maybe another episode of the podcast. And then, most of all, be sure to subscribe and enable those notifications on whatever platform that you're listening to this on. That way you never miss any of the tools, tips, and tricks that we upload every single week to help you trade faster and trade smarter. And I'll see you on the next episode.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. And before you go, remember to head on over to finclub.ai to get your 2 free weeks of artificial intelligence stock picks. You've got nothing to lose and only the most advanced AI to help you trade with confidence at finclub.ai. That's finclub.ai. 10MinuteStockTrader.com content is for information and educational purposes only. It is not, nor is it intended to be, trading or investment advice or recommendation that any security, futures contract, options contract, transaction, or other financial instrument or strategy is suitable for any person. Trading securities can involve high risk and the potential for total loss of any funds invested. 10MinuteStockTrader.com and Christopher Uhl, through its content, financial programming, or otherwise, does not provide investment or financial advice or make investment recommendations. Investment information provided may not be suitable for all investors and is provided without respect to the individual investors and audience's financial sophistication, financial situation, investing time horizon, or risk tolerance. 10MinuteStockTrader.com and Christopher Uhl are not in the business of trading securities trades, nor does it direct client commodity accounts or give commodity trading advice tailored to any particular client situation or investment objectives. 10MinuteStockTrader.com and Christopher Uhl are not licensed financial advisors, registered investment advisors, or registered broker-dealers. Stocks, options, futures options, and other financial instruments not included here involve risk and are not suitable for all investors. You alone are responsible for making your investment and financial trading decisions, and for evaluating the merits and risks associated with the use of any financial security and broker platform. For more information, please visit 10MinuteStockTrader.com/legal. And thanks for stopping by.